Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the Winter Project Series Part 2. For my timeline, I just got done uploading the first part. And I know it was kind of a mess. It was supposed to be a 3-part project vlog. It ended up only being 2. Before we get into anything, I wanted to say author's note. As I do with every year, I change up the intro to the vlogs. And this year was no different. The vlog you guys just got done seeing had a new intro in it. For those of you that are paying attention, at the end of the intro, I usually have 3 splash screens that pop up. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and visit our gift shop at, and I give the Etsy address for the Haunted Treasures Etsy page. If you're paying attention, you'll notice this year's vlog for the 2019 season does not have that. It is missing on purpose. Reason being is first part of the year, sometime in January, we will be shutting down our Etsy page. It's getting to be a drain on finances, so I'm having to whack some weeds. So I think what we're going to end up doing is just doing things through our Facebook page and maybe putting a few things up on eBay every so often. Etsy was a waste of time and a waste of money. So more on that when we figure out what the hell we're doing with it. But we are going to be closing down the Etsy page here sometime in January. And past that, let's get on with the build. Okay, at the end of part 1, we left you with the wall panels for the photo op with the, all the maintenance and stuff being done to it. I've actually done one more stage. When I was doing all the maintenance work and stuff on them, I got to noticing these things were grungy as all hell. If I had tried to paint them as they were, the paint wouldn't have stuck because of all the dirt. So they've been washed, which was the day before yesterday. And then they need to dry. And I'm not ready for painting anyway. I still got those to deal with. These are some of the blanks. No carving done. And so I need to sit down and get my pattern laid out on them and carve some foam. Now, usually when I do these wall panels, most of the detail work, like this here, is that there. I make a template, that I can just trace out. It makes it a lot easier than trying to freehand it or what have you. And I save the templates just in case, like now, if I ever need to make more of them, I have the templates. Now, I was digging through my box, and I have that part, which is the wallpaper. And then I have these here, which are the damaged areas down below. And then I have that one, which is that damaged area there. I could not find that one, so I'm going to have to remake that one real quick before we can get into laying it out. But our next step is we're going to put one sheet of foam up here. I'll take my measurements off of one of these panels, and we're going to just start laying out the pattern on foam. That's the prelude to carving and our next step. Well, another step done. It took several days. About 4 days, actually, the time I had. But we got all the panels. I had 9 of them to do, sketched out. Took a little over an hour to do each panel out of the 9. So it's about 11 hours worth of work all together, getting all the details on them. The most time-consuming one was this detail here, this yellow here. There's 48 of those per panel. It takes a while to trace out 48 of them, even with a goddamn template. I'm glad I didn't try doing it freehand. My next step is carving, but I had a small mini project. It took about 10 minutes to do. And that was this here. And I know you had a wonky camera angle, sorry about that, but this here. And it's a depth gauge for my Dremel. The deepest cut, the one on the right, is the black line in here. The next one is this one, and then the shallowest one there on the far left is this pattern, and down here on the wainscoting. You know, I could save a lot. Could have saved a lot of work to begin with on this, and instead of carving out the patterns like I did, I could have just painted them. My idea at the time, and I still like that idea, is people brush up against the walls, you know, as they're going through the haunt, running through the haunt, walking through the haunt, and I want them to have a texture to hit, you know, brush up against. You know, it just adds kind of the creepiness. You know, each display has its own pattern, its own texture. But now, I'm going to be moving into the house. I'm going to take all 9 panels in the house, and we're going to sit down and get them carved. So that's our next step, and it's going to take a couple of days to do, you know, as I have time. It takes a little over an hour to carve each panel, just as it did to sketch it out. Probably closer, on this one, probably closer to about 2 hours. So, well, a little bit of progress. Yesterday, or last, should say last segment, yeah, it was yesterday. We got the pattern laid out on the panels. I got them all into the house, got my workbench set up, and we just got done. We got the first one carved. Took some time. This one, even though the pattern is not overly complicated, there's a lot of carving on it. But one done, 8 to go. Well, good day, boys and girls. As you can see, we're back out in the shop. That's because we're getting ready to move on to the next stage of this project. I've got all 9 of the panels carved and back out here in the shop. I've got the original panels maintenance and stuff. So now it's time to move in to painting. Painting is going to take a while. Technically, I have 44 panels on the 2-foot and about 12 of the 1-foots. I don't have enough room to do them all at once. I can do roughly about 20 panels at a time. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out, everything needs a coat of white. That's what I use for a primer. I get a 5-gallon bucket of paint, the cheapest I can find. Usually runs me about $40 for a 5-gallon pail of it down at Home Depot. And all the panels need to be sprayed white. And like I said, I can only do 20 panels at a time, so I got to spray 20 panels, see if I can get them to fit in here, and then let them dry. Right now the shop is at about 44, 45 degrees, roughly, which means it's going to take the better part of a day for them to dry. So I'll be able to do 20 a day. So starting tomorrow, we'll get out here, we'll do 20 of them, and then come out the next day, do the other 20, and get them all finished off. Then we've got to come back in, the bottom part, like on the originals, but it's going to be a different shade. It's going to be brown. It's going to be a different shade of brown though. I'm not sure if it's going to end up lighter or darker. I'll get into what I'm doing with the brown. And I think I've already mentioned it earlier in the vlog, but when I get to it. And that will take 2 days. We'll go through, spray 20 of the panels with brown, let them dry overnight, come out and spray the second set. Then we'll be into doing the top part. And the top part, and let's see here, I got a can of it over here. That blue there is going to be on the top part. And we'll get those sprayed. 20 one day, 20 the next day. Once they've dried, then we'll be moving back into the house, and we've got to come in here and start doing all the detail work. And that will literally take forever to do. But then we'll be done with the project. I'm thinking at this point it's, what is it? Oh, the Friday before New Year's, whatever the date is. It's probably going to be about mid-January by the time we're done with these, with everything. It depends on how fast it goes. You know, I might be able to do more than 20 a day, and they may dry faster. Depends on how thick I put the paint on, too. The thinner the coat, the quicker it dries. But anyway, that's our next step. We're just getting ready to get set up. I've got 4:15. Our Christmas display is still running, so I cannot work out here after the display gets turned on, which is about 4:30. It runs through New Year's Eve, so I got another couple of days of that, and then I'll be able to work out here in the evening. So I might be able to work a little bit faster, depending on how fast things dry. Well, not too bad. Got up early this morning, got out here, and spent about an hour and a half spraying panels. I got 22 of them on the 2-foot panels done. Have not done the 1-foot or the new cap pieces at all yet, and I still got the other half of the 2-foots back in the storage locker that need to be painted yet. Weather outside, it's up in the mid-40s today, so it's kind of a nice day for the middle of winter. Normally we're down in the 20s, and the shop's around 32 degrees. With it being warmer outside, it's warmer inside. And as a result, after a 2-hour wait, after I finished this panel here, went in and had some lunch and did a couple other things in the house, some of these panels are actually dry, so I can move some of them out. Not all of them. There's still a couple, 1 or 2 in here that have some wet spots. So they're going to need to stay in here a little bit longer and dry. But I am going to try an attempt to move the dry ones outside, stack them up on the patio. And we're going to continue on with painting. I got to get that storage locker emptied out. And we'll see how far we can get on them. Almost forgot to shoot this segment. Yesterday we got really lucky. We got all the white shots. I got them all in there, except for these here. I had the 1-foots to do, I had 3 of the 2-foots, and I had 4 of the trim pieces left to do. Other than that, everything else got their white on it. Now, this morning, before I shot the white on, I came out and I got these prepped for doing the brown. The brown goes from here down. I don't want to get any brown up here where the blue's going to go. So I used some tape and some painter's paper. Say that 5 times quick. But we got all the panels that were done with white covered. They're ready for the brown. I also figured out how many screws I was going to need for the brown areas. The brown areas down near the bottom get 1 screw on each side. So I need 2 screws to panel. You know, in time I figured everything out, got them on here. So these can get a spritz of brown on them. And those will be done and good to go. I'll have to do the same thing when I go to do the blue. Blue's going to get a little splotch of paint as well. Then I'll put them in a Ziploc bag and keep them separate from the rest. I always end up having to do that at some point anyway. After that, after I got the paper done and the screws done, we got the white out, got the white finished, which I did about an hour ago, roughly. Then I came out and went through my racks back there behind the panels, and I had 5 cans. Yeah, I'm going to have to clean that. 5 cans of brown, different shades of brown. They weren't full cans. Excuse me, I had one that was a full can. The new Oops one I got was a dark brown. Didn't need it for what I wanted to do, but I darkened things up too much, so it's sitting over on the table. And I said, when that Oops, I'm going to have to clean that later. I had 2 empty 2 can lids for those 2 cans stacked together. One just fell into there. But I'll get it out later. I'm not going to try to fish it out now, because I ain't going to really worry about it, because I have nothing to put into the can right now where I need a lid anyway. But anyway, I ended up with 5 cans of leftover brown paint. The one, as I just explained about being an Oops can and everything, we decided not to use. That left me 4 old cans of paint. Out of those 4 cans, one of them was hard as a rock, so it just went right in the trash. That left me 3 part cans. One, you know, had probably about that much in the bottom. The others were all about half full. They all went into that bucket, regardless of what shade they were. Then I have my 2 new cans, which are sitting over there, empty and cleaned. They went in, we mixed it up, and we ended up just shy of 4 gallons of paint. Just shy of 4 gallons. So not too bad, but we got them mixed up. I like that coloring. It's like, almost like a chocolate, a light chocolate color. I think that'll look good for the wainscoting, both on this, the photo hall panels, and the witch panels if I ever get to them. Well, it is the 18th of January, and project's done. Finally. Here's the finished project that we've got. We've got 44 for the 2-foot panels, and they're done in blue, cream, yellow, and brown. This time I let Sue-Ann pick the coloring for up here, and we decided to go blue. We figured with the colored LED lights that go up in here, we ought to get some interesting contrast with that blue, depending on what colors I use. And I've got 11 different colors to choose from now. So, but we've got the 2-foot. I've got 11 of the 1-foot panels. That way, if my walls aren't even length, like an 8-foot wall, but a 9-foot wall, I can do 4 of those and 1 of those and get my 9 feet. And then the other one, the new items we put in this year are these end cap pieces, and I explained earlier in the vlog about them. Now, I got a couple projects I need to do before we get on to the next set. Yeah, they're going to be a next set, and that's what the next vlog is going to be. This vlog's done. But I do have 2 small projects I am not going to vlog. One of them has to do with that insulation up there. I got to go from that to that, which is that my scrap pink foam I've been putting up there. I've been slowly replacing the fiberglass insulation. I'm going to be working on that next, and I'm not going to vlog the process. I covered it last couple of years when I've done it. It's something I've been working on as I get scrap foam. I do the attic. If you want to see the process of that, you can go digging through my vlogs. There is not a separate vlog for it. The other one, if you remember, my Christmas display. I used a bunch of Halloween stuff in it. The mausoleum, the pillars, skeletons, what have you. When we took down the Christmas display, I just dumped it out in the backyard where I store my Halloween stuff in. I gotta get that cleaned up. Reason being, it's blocking my piles of skins. So not only can I not put this away until that mess is cleaned up, I can't get the next set out until that stuff's put away. So I'll be working on that the next day or two. And then we'll be starting the next vlog, which should be up sometime in February. I'm hoping. What pattern we're going to be doing at this time, I don't know. I don't know what the next pattern was. This was on top of its own stack. I'm going to do the whatever was underneath of it. I think it's a brick pattern, which means it's going to be a gray, multicolored panel. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to take a look. But that's for the next vlog. You'll find out when you see the next vlog. For those of you new to the channel, if you're interested in seeing how I come up with the assorted different patterns and stuff I've made with this hand-carved foam, visit my YouTube channel and slide down the main page. There's a playlist of it, and each pattern is a bit different. This one here with a sanding block and Dremel work, and almost all the patterns are Dremel work and a sanding block. But I've used different techniques, you know, to get different looks, to get different styles. The playlist has it all. Warn you though, if you decide to go look at the playlist, some of the vlogs are fairly long. In fact, they're all very long. So, anyway, with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I got cleanup to do, and I got the ceiling to finish with the installation, and we'll see you next vlog. So stay spooky, stay toxic. Oh, and Kaylee, by the way, says, what do you say, KK? Thump, thump, thump with the tail. Huh? Thump, thump, thump.